we're going to talk about framing, probably one of the most exciting parts of the project because you actually get to see the house come to life. And so now we're going to talk about some of the integral parts about framing and what all goes into framing a home. There's a lot to it. This piece of metal here nailed up to the studs is called a wind brace, and it is to prevent the house from moving. So if the house tends to want to shear, this prevents that from happening, which makes a stronger house for you. If you'll remember in part 1 of foundation, we talked about how the plumbers precisely set the pipes so that they hit right in the middle of a wall. And this is a perfect example of that. This pipe is a drain pipe, and of course your cold side and your hot side for the water. And look how that just perfectly hit right in the middle of this wall. Okay, I want to direct your attention to this bottom plate and point out a couple of things that are pretty interesting and pretty cool about the way we frame our houses. If you'll remember in the foundation series, and we talked about them insetting the bolts, the concrete crew inset the bolts into wet concrete. This is the bolt that we're talking about. And what they've done is they've drilled a hole in this bottom plate, and they've actually put the bolt on there and screwed it and fastened it down to anchor this bottom plate so that it cannot move ever. And then also what we did is because we're so close to this corner here, we've added an additional bolt just for safety and protection for our new homeowner. This black piece of visqueen is a pretty integral part of the framing system as well, as it protects us from moisture. So what this does is it goes up on this wall about 6 inches and then rolls down on the outside underneath the sheathing. And that prevents any moisture from penetrating back to our bottom plate. Now you might notice that this bottom plate is a different color than this piece of wood. And that is actually on purpose. This is what we call a treated piece of lumber, and it's treated with a product that does not allow this to rot over time. If there's ever moisture or the house ever floods, this is a very important piece of wood, and we do not want that to ever rot away. And this green treatment prevents it from ever rotting away. This is the actual vertical stud that we use, and we typically get most of our lumber from Canada through our suppliers, and the wood that we like to use is fir. A lot of builders like to use pine. We don't like to use pine because pine tends to warp and move faster than fir does, and so the fir actually stays in the place and gives you more of a true and a plumb house, in our opinion. That makes for a longer lasting house over time.